That was the moment I realised she hadn't just stopped loving me, she'd stopped respecting me, and I'd stopped respecting myself.
I turned 34 this year, though if you ask my wife Marlo, she'd probably say I'd been emotionally 25 for at least a decade. She used to tease me gently about my worn boots, my ancient playlists, the way I still preferred paperback books over anything digital. It was harmless once, almost sweet. But sarcasm has a way of rotting if it stays too long. Recently her jokes had turned sharper, her sighs longer, her patience shorter. Still, I woke up on my birthday with a childlike hope gnawing at me. Maybe today will feel like old times. I made breakfast for both of us, played her favorite morning playlist. Even ironed the shirt she once said made me look surprisingly decent. I was really trying to revive what we'd lost. She came downstairs almost an hour later, hair in a messy bun, thumbs scrolling endlessly on her phone. She didn't even glance at the table I'd set. "Morning," she muttered. Then, almost as an afterthought, "Happy birthday, Evan." No kiss, no smile. Not even eye contact. Just a distracted greeting thrown at me like leftover crumbs. But I swallowed the sting. I'd been doing that for months. By noon, she finally said, "I got something for you," and handed me a small envelope. Her smirk was strange, stiff, like it had been painted on. I opened the card slowly, expecting something simple but warm. Instead, inside the cheap paper was a cartoon caveman with a club, and a message that sucked the air out of the room. "Maybe try being a real man next year." I stared at it. At her? Back at it? 7 words. 7 cheap, cutting words that didn't look playful, didn't feel teasing, didn't resemble anything I recognized from the woman I married. My voice came out quiet. This is funny?" she shrugged, rolling her eyes. "It's a joke, Evan. God, you're so sensitive. Men don't joke like this with their wives," I said. "Maybe if you acted like a real man sometimes, you'd get it." Her tone wasn't joking, not anymore. That was the moment something inside me, something I'd been desperately propping up, gave way. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a soft internal click, a door closing. She left shortly after, claiming she had errands, without asking about dinner, plans, nothing. I sat on the couch holding that ridiculous card like it was a verdict. And then the truth hit me with breathtaking clarity. She didn't respect me. And somewhere along the way, I stopped respecting myself too. On my birthday, my wife gave me... I walked outside with my hands buried in my pockets, the cold air forcing my thoughts into uncomfortable focus. It wasn't the card itself. It was everything the card revealed. Every sigh when I tried to talk. Every eye roll when I tried to help. Every moment she looked at her phone instead of me. For years I'd explained it away. She's stressed. She's tired. She doesn't mean it. But now I realized I'd been making excuses for someone who had stopped choosing me. By the time I returned home, something inside me had shifted from hurt to resolve. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I didn't demand anything. I simply reclaimed myself. I canceled auto payments I'd set up for her convenience. Not vindictively, just reclaiming what was mine. I logged out of accounts I paid for but barely used. Then I cleaned the house top to bottom. Not for her. Not to impress anyone. But because I needed to feel control over something in my life. With each drawer I reorganized, each stack of papers I sorted, I felt a piece of myself stitching back together. When Marlo returned home, grocery bags in hand, she placed them on the counter and frowned at the TV. "Did you cancel the cable?" she asked. "Yes," I said calmly, "but why? On your birthday?" I picked up the card she'd given me, didn't even bother opening it. "Thought it was time," I said. Maybe part of being a real man is taking back responsibility for my own life. The shock on her face was immediate. She wasn't expecting calm strength. She was expecting the version of me who apologized for everything just to keep the peace. Not this version. She opened and closed her mouth, trying to assemble a response. But nothing came out. For the next few days, our home settled into a quiet, unfamiliar rhythm. She tested me, little comments, sarcastic remarks, pokes meant to provoke, but I didn't take the bait. Not out of spite, out of exhaustion, out of clarity.